This is the late evening of Sunday, March 8th, 2026. Let's talk about how Turkey shipped loads of ammunition to Port Harcourt, Nigeria, and the weapons were intercepted at Onne port. I promise you I'll be bringing up little by little the countries that have been supplying the terrorists in Nigeria weapons, okay? At a time, I released the voice call that the Egyptian's television published that Mustafa, who is a national security advisor to Erdogan, was making with the chief executive officer of the Turkish airline when they were shipping ammunition to Nigeria. I published it. You can go and check it on my YouTube channel. So that call, they were telling them where to drop the weapons in Nigeria. They were using the Turkish airline. They gave them instruction. The people they will use the weapons to kill. The man was saying, if you use the weapon to kill the Muslims, it is a crime or it is a sin. So who are you going to use the weapons to kill? So they were giving very strict instruction about the delivery of the weapon. Thank God that it wasn't a Nigerian television or me or anybody that published it. It was still the Egyptian television that exposed this thing. So today, let us look into how the Nigerian Customs Service intercepted 844 rifles, 112,500 rounds of ammunition in Onne. Now, I want you to look at this, okay? This is custom.gov.ng. This is not just a speculation or from any social media platform. This is from the website of Nigeria Customs Service. Go and verify it. So anything I'm telling you, just make sure you always go and verify it. Now, because of where this ammunition is coming from, do you know that this issue of weapon, if they probe it, meaning they did not publish the probe, they swept it under the carpet. Who owns the ammunition? The destination of the ammunition. The only thing we know is that this ammunition is coming from Turkey and it is heading to terrorists. That was the information that was available. Okay, so it was something that that time I think there were speculations whether the ammunition was supposed to be stored in one place. Why? So I don't want to speculate what other people are just putting up or what other people are thinking. Because as far as I'm concerned, the only thing I know about the ammunition is that the Turkish government shipped it to terrorists and the Nigerian Customs Service intercepted it. They acknowledge what I'm saying now. They put it on their website so that generations to come will always come and visit it and knows the country who are always shipping ammunition to Nigeria. Don't forget that the same thing happened from Iran. It was intercepted and, people were involved, were sued. Nigeria government sued them and so on and so forth. Up to today, they swept it under the carpet. It's so unfortunate. All right. Now, and let us just look into the details of the article that reported this. It reads that the Controller General Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, has narrated how 844 units of assorted rifles, 112,500 pieces of live ammunition, among other contraband, were intercepted at the Onne port, River State, Port Harcourt, South Nigeria. This is according to what they are reporting. Mr. Adeniyi narrated this on Monday at a media briefing at Onne Area 2 Command, organized to declare the seized items and hand them over to the appropriate authority. Based on intelligence sharing, a 40-footer container with number MOAEO 165396, which originated from Turkey, was tracked based on some risk factors associated with its importation. The container laden with rifles and ammunitions concealed in various items such as doors, furniture, and plumbing fittings was intercepted at a bonded terminal of the Onne port on 21st of June 2024. This is just 2 years ago, 2024. Okay, it's not up to 2 years, a year and 8 months today. The reason why I'm going back to history, I'm going back to all these videos is because I want Nigerians to understand the people who are actually supporting terrorism in Nigeria. Because I raised the alarm when Tinubu traveled to Turkey that they want to share intelligence on military intelligence with Turkey and so on and so forth. But I see it as a dangerous one. Looking the fact that Turkey have been shipping weapons to terrorists through plane, through the land borders, through the sea. So why would you enter security agreement with such country if you don't have any ulterior motive? And what baffles me is that there is no available probe of these equipments, the destination. Probe them, put them on the internet so that generations to come, like we that always do research, generations to come, we always see it on government website that so. And that's supposed to guide your decisions. However, I am not surprised. An administration who have been accused of funding terrorism and forming militia could have something hidden to do with Turkey, who are shipping weapons to terrorists. And Iran is not exempted. Iran was sued by Nigerian government. I am saying this so that you know your enemies. I'm saying this so that you know involvement. If you have any other country, you have the proof, just as I'm presenting it to you. You have any other country that is supporting terrorism in Nigeria, you have the proof. Publish it. Don't speculate. I don't speculate. I don't say what I don't know. I talk based on verifiable fact. So that if I say anything, if I drop any video, you don't need to, it's not a rocket science. You don't need to start running up and down to ask whether what I'm saying is true or not. In that your phone, you can take your phone, go ask AI. In fact, if you don't know how to search it on Google, go to AI, type it, the prompt will come out, and you see everything by yourself. And that is why we are doing what we are doing today. So that everything we are saying today will guide the decisions of people who are going to come after us. The Turkey and Iranian governments or regimes or countries, depending on what you think or believe they are, they have been sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. And we are not going to keep quiet about this. We are monitoring the situation and so on and so forth. People who don't like us to talk about these things, they are not happy because of their alignment with these countries. But if we continue to keep quiet, it is also to our own detriment. We must continue to say the truth. And we believe that Nigeria is not going to continue like this. It's a promise. Nigeria is not going to continue like this. So, as we anticipate what will happen, as far as anything that will happen, we stop the death of people. As far as what is going to happen, we benefit the indigenous people who owns lands in Nigeria. As far as it's going to benefit people, there is no problem about that. So if anything is going to happen, let it happen. As far as it's not against natural justice and equity, because people have to stop dying in Nigeria, and there is no way people will stop dying unless one thing happen. That is, if we all come together and say that let us end this country, let us be brothers across border. Some people see this thing as something that is impossible, but don't worry, people will beg for it. Very soon, time will come. People will beg for it. I've never seen any country that follows this trajectory that Nigeria is following that succeeds. No. Politicians, terrorists, you can't differentiate them any longer. And the agenda is so pure and undiluted that even a blind man could perceive and see that the agenda of people in government is not just to help the people. We admit the fact that there is a symbiotic relationship, but in a perverse manner, between the politicians and the people. In the sense that the politicians will just go and steal money, loot money, then they will come back to the people. That money they're supposed to build hospital for them, then they will organize a medical outreach. They will set canopy. Money that they're supposed to build hospital for you, they will set canopy and organize a medical outreach. Just a day. If you're having fever, they will test you and give you paracetamol. The money for your hospital, they will embezzle it. And for you, they have given back to the people. This is a symbiotic relationship in a perverse manner. And it is time for people to wake up. We are sleeping. We are sleeping. It is time for people to wake up. And what I can do best to tell people to wake up is telling them the reality on ground. You will know the truth. And only the truth you know shall set you free, not the truth you don't know. Because most of the things you think or believe that this is the truth, most of them are not the truth. You believe what you were taught. You believe what you just hear. You don't actually know it. Because if you know it, you will come to know the truth. So let us always try to do some findings about our surroundings, because the day is red and the days ahead is dark.
Let me get into terror financing, and then I'll come to the OSW you talked about.
Yeah.
For you, successive administrations have paid lip service to unmasking prominent Nigerians allegedly financing terror and oil theft. Why do you hold this view? Allegedly so. And do you know, one would ask whether you know them. If true, what do you think is responsible for the past administration's attitude regarding this so-called financiers of terror?
Okay, thank you very much again for this brilliant question. Now, let me, relate to my experience, right, as the commander of the Operation Service Wide, which was an intelligence-driven outfit. Now, like I said, we picked the main leaders and other facilitators, financiers, sponsors, and then we commenced investigation.
By picked, you mean you arrested?
Arrested, captured, arrest. Now we picked them. That is, it was a collaborative effort. Those elements that I mentioned, and investigation was ongoing. And the investigation team was made up of representatives from the Department of State Services, from the Defense Intelligence Agency, from the military police, that's the army aspect of it, from the NFIU, the investigation, and it revealed so much. And like I earlier said, right, certain intelligence was shared. We were collaborating with about 33 countries in Europe, Western Europe, Asia, and other distant were collaborating with us and distant. Now, in the course of the investigation, we stumbled upon names of individuals, prominent individuals, and some of them are still prominent, and including the owner of an airline who was ferrying weapons allegedly for Boko Haram and other reasons. So those information, we took our concern, made our concern known, the investigation in terms of interim listening to the powers that be at the time. And some of those people were linked to even cabinet ministers. Some of the people were even arrested. Some of the people who were investigating were linked to them. Were linked to senior military, retired now, of generals and the rest, linked to many prominent distant. And in the course of our investigation, we now, let me just add also, we had 3 representatives from the Attorney Generals of the Federation Office, that's Minister of Justice, that were with us to guide us while we were making the case. So that because ultimately the Office of the Attorney General was to prosecute
those you arrest.
Right. Now, but as the thing progressed, we started noticing some kind of how should I put it? We noticed some kind of hesitation. Things started coming up like, okay, some of these people, it to be difficult to pin terrorism financing on them, perhaps money laundering. Look, then you started getting some calls that some people, prominent that you should release, so person is not this and that, something. This. As the commander, I made my concern known to the president, late President Muhammad Buhari. I made it, I said, so this, and I recall on one occasion, he stood up, very angry. He said, General, I appointed you as the commander of Operation Service Wide. You report to me and to me alone. That was his exact words to me. General Muhammad Buhari, a great man. Of course, he had his shortcomings. I was very angry when the whole thing happened, and he didn't even raise a finger to this thing. But I later came to realize, that perhaps he was misled.
You say Tahiru devised a strategy, the late Chief of Army Staff,
yes,
to end terrorism in the north. Fill us in on this strategy. Is it being implemented now?
I don't know whether that strategy is implemented. Before delving into that, let me just say that the military and other security agencies are doing fantastic work. They're doing their best. They have challenges. Perhaps I'll come to that later. They listen, but they are doing their best, and they have a lot of challenges. Now, the strategy is nothing fantastic to say. I mean, it was just sincerity. Now, we had the OSW, which was on, right? It's set up in 2020 year, 2020.
You actually headed the OSW,
Yes.
and the mandate was to dismantle the terrorism financing network
Absolutely.
in order to fight
Yeah.
against terrorism and insurgency. Will it be correct to say that you could not achieve that mandate,
No, we achieved.
or that you failed?
No, we achieved, because we achieved to an extent, because we arrested the leadership of the Boko Haram, just like I said, the leader. I don't want to mention his name because I'm not too sure, but I understand, I heard from the grapevine that he was released along with the 5 key guys. And that leader of Boko Haram, just like I said, the United Arab Emirates shared that intelligence with us. I know, with all this. And he was the one who even recruited the 6 individuals. They were jailed, 2 for life, 1 for 30 years, 1 for 20 years, another one for 10 years, and another one for 5 years, the 6 of them. He was the recruiter of this thing. And yet, right, that man I learned, he and the 5 other guys who had this thing were released. I don't know for what reason. I don't know what reason. They were never prosecuted, not to the best of my knowledge. I don't know whether they were this, but they were never prosecuted. So you see, those were kind of the fear, if I may use that term or word, the fear that one has over what has happened right now in terms of the arrest of those leadership. We hope that the thing we see will come to fruition. Yes.
You had written to the president concerning your arrest, detention, and compulsory retirement over what an investigation task force you headed unearthed. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. Like I was arrested on the 18th of October 2021, and detained for 64 days under terrible condition, stripped of all my dignity. I mean, stripped. You know, a general being my head hair removed by a soldier, my boots, I was left barefooted, and in a cell. I mean, it was a terrible situation. And then on 21st of December 2021, they came to release me, and they handed over my letter of compulsory retirement. And I made effort to get across to the late former president. And let me just add, as bitter as I am, as pained as I am over what Buhari did to me, as I said, I realized that he was naive. He was misled, and for that I forgive him, you know, and I urge anybody who has this thing, if it's on account of me, to forgive him for these things. But anyway, coming back to that, on the I made strenuous effort to have that injustice corrected. It wasn't. Now on June 7th, 2023, that was exactly 10 days before my late mother passed away. She died on the 17th of June. Along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, I and my driver, we survived an assassination attempt. We were pursued by 2 vehicles, and at a point I had to call the commander of the troops along that highway, whom was appointed at the time. I was the general officer commanding 1 division, and they came, and that was what we were able to get away. You know, that was the 4th attempt. And on that, when that thing happened, of course you can imagine my state of mind. I mean, 2 years after I was thrown out of the army, nothing done, this, and so I now wrote to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I wrote, and I passed the letter, you know, through a reliable listen to get across to him, because I didn't want to send it through the open mail. I never wanted this thing to be in the media. So that was, it was signed on the 21st of June 2023. Nothing was done. 6 months later, if you recall, January 2024, last year, that was when the news first broke, this day, and then you invited me to arise, and I came and listened. Then,
I'm afraid my time is up. We didn't have time to talk about the Presidency Institute, yes. BOI, which again you heard it was convened here, like you said, by the NSA, uncovering 295 oil tankers that convert petrol with major oil smugglers identified.